Proposition 57, reform California's parole and juvenile trial system. This would allow people charged with nonviolent felonies who served their primary offenses full term to be considered for early parole. It would also prevent prosecutors from trying children 14 years and younger as adults.
Right away, what sticks out to me, right away, what stuck out to me after doing a lot of research, because it wasn't clear when I first read it, was that the term nonviolent is nowhere defined, which is the reason why ultimately I have a hard time supporting this proposition. But there's a lot. So we live in downtown Los Angeles, and downtown Los Angeles, people say, has taken somewhat of a decline in the last year or so, even more probably. But there was a thing called Proposition 47, which is kind of the first part of this two-part program. Proposition 57 is the second part of that. Prop 47 was early release as well. But there's a whole bunch of things that Prop 47 was supposed to do at the back end, provide services and kind of rehabilitation services and be funded and whatnot. But that stuff didn't happen. All they did was kind of release people and didn't really have somewhere for them to land. So, crime in downtown's up a lot, in some cases 200%. And then, here we are with Prop 57. So I'm going to admit that I'm definitely biased because I'm experiencing in my mind the effects of Prop 47. So I'm not very open to Prop 57 at this time. But the rest of the state apparently is very open to it because it's witnessing about 70% support. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But, I think the issue is that when I first read it, it sounds great. It sounds like these are all things that we should be pushing for. I think these are all great principles. I mean, the idea of giving people who are convicted of quote unquote nonviolent felonies a chance to get credit, educate themselves in jail, rehabilitate themselves. That's what the prison system should be like in the first place. And then it has this idea, has this little idea tacked on to the end of it about having judges instead of prosecutors decide whether or not a juvenile will be tried as an adult. I think that's another great backstop to prevent situations where prosecutors are a little overambitious. But, we don't have a chance to amend a proposition. We don't have a chance to, say, we want to adopt parts B and C, but not A. Mm-hmm. We have to take it as a whole. And because of that, I have a big problem with saying yes to it because of the fact that nonviolent is not defined. And in fact, includes several crimes and convictions that would be considered violent if you just asked anyone, who had a decent kind of moral compass of what they considered violent and nonviolent. So I took a couple tests that were online that were set up for no on Prop 57, mm-hmm. and it's like drugging a person and raping them is considered nonviolent.
That's a nonviolent crime.
Mm-hmm. Child molestation, nonviolent. Because and let me give you the background as to why those are considered nonviolent. The term violent is defined, and it has like a short list of things that are violent, but there's a flurry of other convictions out there or types of crimes which are not included in that definition of violent, that limited definition. And so the idea is that this proposition is worded so that everything else that's not in that violent definition in the statute would be considered quote unquote nonviolent. It goes back to being sloppy drafting, goes back to being, in my mind, a big kind of whoops, we should have defined that term.
So do you think the cons of, like you're saying, that it's the nonviolent crime isn't defined outweigh the benefits of the current prisoners that it would help?
That's a great question. Again, I kind of lean on the fact that we're experiencing crime rates rising, and I'm seeing it firsthand. So I'm going to say that I'm very much thinking and leaning that, having that ambiguity is not something I'm going to be flexible with at this time because of what I experienced with Prop 47.
So the opposition includes pretty much all of the district attorneys you can think of for any county. They're all against it. And and that's their biggest argument, is that it could result in higher crime rates. However, there's no money that I found supporting or opposing 57, but there's about $7 million or so saying yes on 57. Oh, and also the supporters include Governor Jerry Brown, Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, and Newt Gingrich.
And I'll add on there the California Democratic Party again.
Oh,
and I'll add, to your point about funding, I will say that I did find numbers for the No campaign, and it's $252,000. So
there we go.
It's definitely not close to the $8 million that the supporters have raised. But
we can see that the pros are it can save the state money, or it can reduce overcrowding in prisons, and there's proof that it does work. The cons are that we don't have a strong set of systems in place to help these inmates rehabilitate once they are out. Crime rate will increase. So knowing all that, Councilman Garcia?
I go back to my issue with the fact that nonviolence is not defined, so it encompasses a bunch of unknown, possibly considered violent convictions. Based on that and what we've seen in downtown, I'm going to say no.
Carlos Foglia?
I'm fully aware that I'll be in the minority here. I'm going to say yes, only because I think that, yes, it's not fully defined, but there are some... The prosecutor thing really does it for me.
I'm also going to say yes on 57. I think there are a lot of inmates in jail that shouldn't be in jail, and I guess I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll do a better time this time around with helping these people once they're out of prison.
But we're gonna tell people exactly what you said because we respect your opinion so much. So I think
we won't edit this out.
We're not gonna be like, oh no. He I say blank. No.
Eric Garcia says yes.